Nikola Jokic, the current and defending NBA MVP, is once again inching closer to taking home another Most Valuable Player honor. The Joker joined NBA greats like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Larry Bird, Wilt Chamberlain, Bill Russell, and many more by winning 2 consecutive MVP awards. Jokic has continued to play at a high level this season. However, as the season comes to a close, the MVP race has been close between Jokic and Sixers center Joel Embiid. Can the Joker win the MVP for the 3rd time in a row? And what are the reasons behind these controversies? Let's find out. The Denver Nuggets, who are now one of the strongest teams in the NBA, are led by Nikola Jokic, a 2-time Most Valuable Player winner. Jokic is producing numbers that are comparable to those from his 2 prior MVP seasons and has been essential to the team's success. Despite this, he will have a tough time winning a 3rd consecutive MVP. The general managers of the league did not choose Jokic as their MVP pick for the season. They're not alone either. Whether it's debate shows, podcasts, or casual conversations among NBA fans before the season, it's almost a fact that Jokic won't have 3 straight victories. It seems as though it is somehow illegal. Voter fatigue and narrative are 2 frequent defenses used against a player receiving the league's top individual honor. The strength of those arguments is subjective and will never be fully quantifiable, but there's unmistakable interest in watching a new star emerge to try and unseat the incumbent back-to-back MVP. I would be perplexed if Jokic wins the award this time around, former MVP voter Tony Jones at The Athletic wrote. Jones gave the Denver Nuggets player the top vote in 2021, but he asserted that voter fatigue for definitely occurs and has prevented LeBron James, Michael Jordan, and Kobe Bryant from winning more individual awards. Voter fatigue applies to 3 of the greatest players to ever pick up a basketball, but it doesn't apply to Jokic, Jones wrote. Voter fatigue is a concept that Sam Amick, who has supported Jokic over the past 2 years and has a vote this year, also accepted. The short answer is yes, it exists, Amick wrote. When a certain player has won the award in back-to-back seasons, especially, you take the historical factor into play. Only Bill Russell, Wilt Chamberlain, and Larry Bird have been back-to-back-to-back winners. DeMarcus Cousins, a former teammate of Jokic, also believes the Serbian shouldn't play in this company. I'm not okay with it being 3 MVPs in a row because then it becomes a conversation. Is this the best basketball player to ever touch a basketball? I think we can all agree that he's not. Not saying he can't be, and not saying he doesn't deserve more down the road. But at this stage in his career, I'm not okay with saying that. He has not won anything. He hasn't been to the finals. There are a lot of things still in play for him. That's my only concern. At this point, he's the best center of all time, Cousins said. Averaging 24.5 points, 11.8 rebounds, and 9.8 assists per game, Jokic has led the Nuggets to the number 1 seed in the Western Conference and is coming off an MVP-caliber regular season. Cousins believes Jokic lacks the postseason success necessary to be awarded such a remarkable feat, though. 3 in a row? We're putting him over the likes of Shaquille O'Neal, Hakeem Olajuwon, Tim Duncan, and Wilt Chamberlain. That's a tough conversation to have because we've seen what these guys have done. Can we sit right here and say Jokic not only is the best big ever, but the best basketball player ever with 3 MVPs in a row? I'm not comfortable saying that, Cousins added. So guys, will this be Jokic's year? The Nuggets are finally totally healthy coming into the postseason after 2 consecutive years of injury-riddled playoff appearances. Jamal Murray has participated in 65 regular season games for Denver while recovering from an ACL injury. In the 62 games Michael Porter Jr. made an appearance, he averaged 17.4 points and grabbed 5.5 rebounds while shooting 48.7% from the floor and 41.4% from 3. Additionally, the Nuggets enter the NBA playoffs with a chance to be favorites to win it all because players like Reggie Jackson, Bruce Brown, and Aaron Gordon are capable of filling key roles for them. If that occurs and Jokic drives Denver to the franchise's first ever NBA title, that ought to put him in the conversation with the other all-time greats. But as of right now, at least in Cousins' opinion, a 3rd MVP can't be the reason he achieves it. There are a variety of elements in play here, but NBA history itself may be the most important. Only 4 players have ever won 3 consecutive MVP awards, but if Jokic did it, it would be a clear indication of his significance in history. Even in his 8th season, Jokic is already a legendary player who is producing extraordinary stats. Yet, if he were to receive another vote, he would join the ranks of Bill Russell, Wilt Chamberlain, and Larry Bird. LeBron James, Tim Duncan, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and other players, widely regarded as among the best ever, have only ever achieved 2 consecutive victories. Jokic will undoubtedly be a legendary player. Yet, given that many NBA fans appear to have mixed feelings about Jokic, they might laugh at the idea that he has won more straight MVPs than those legends. In fact, a lot of people question why he was selected in each of the previous 2 seasons over other contenders. It's a reasonable question, given the NBA's sharp rise in quality. Not that Jokic wasn't deserving, but with guys like Joel Embiid, Jason Tatum, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Luka Doncic all putting up MVP-caliber numbers this season, it's becoming more and more difficult to pinpoint who is truly the most deserving. While one could claim that Jokic's statistics support him, others might choose the field over him despite the fact that his figures are similarly good. Additionally, the established precedence has changed. The best player on the best team was traditionally considered to be the MVP, but this rarely occurred. The award went to the best player on the team with the best history instead. Steve Nash shouldn't have earned the MVP twice, according to many NBA fans today. And Derrick Rose's MVP has also long been questioned. Nonetheless, both players had outstanding tales and were the greatest players on outstanding teams. The Nuggets might end up finishing first or second in the NBA, and Jokic's incredible rise from a second-round choice to being among the best players in the league is worthy of a Hollywood film. Even said, it's possible that voters might have already used the latter explanation when choosing him for the last 2 seasons. What might it take for Jokic to beat the odds and win MVP at the end of the upcoming season? Consider what he achieved in each of his first 2 MVP seasons to get things started. From his first MVP season to his second, Jokic's statistics increased almost universally, with the exception of his assists per game, 3-point percentage, and free throw percentage. In both of his MVP seasons, he led the league in win shares and finished in the top 12 in points, rebounds, assists, steals, and field goal percentage. What kind of stats would Jokic need to put up this season to get enough votes for MVP? In a single season, he became the only player in NBA history to achieve a minimum of 25 points, 13 rebounds, and 7 assists. So, what does all this indicate for Jokic's chances? Here are 2 important factors that could decide Jokic's fate. As a team, the Nuggets will likely need to perform considerably better than they did during Jokic's first 2 MVP seasons. They had the 47-25 record in the 20-21 season, good for 3rd place in the Western Conference and 5th best in the NBA. They had a 48-34 record the prior year. This year, the team finished with a 53-29 record, good for 1st in the West and 4th best in the league. Keep in mind that the 3 players who accomplished the 3-peat MVPs led their respective teams to the highest place in the rankings. Jokic has produced another season of statistical dominance to match the total team success. He dominated the league in on-court and off-court difference last season, recorded the highest player efficiency rating in league history, and had the first 2,000 points, 1,000 rebounds, and 500 assist season in league history. These are challenging accomplishments to attempt to match or surpass, but we believe Jokic did enough in order to secure the votes for a 3rd consecutive MVP. In general, narrative and historical precedent is quite important in the MVP race. Nevertheless, Jokic may just fall short of winning his 3rd MVP title despite having another outstanding season. So, what do you think? Is Jokic deserving of his 3rd straight MVP? We think so. Let us know what you think in the comments below.